Photo News, South Canterbury's photographic newspaper. Fortnightly issue number 9, 4th of April 1984. The most appropriate person in New Zealand to autograph a $2 note is the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Sir Robert Muldoon. That was Tony Binstead's thoughts when he waylaid Sir Robert at the opening of the Mountain View High School last week. Looking on is B.K. Gainsford, the recently retired superintendent of the Canterbury Education Board. At the opening of the Timaru Herald building this last week, the Prime Minister Sir Robert Muldoon, who officially opened the premises, was accompanied by the Timaru Herald's General Manager Mr. S.R. Bennett on a tour of inspection. Seen here greeting Herald staff are Sir Robert and Mr. Bennett. Photo News issue number 9, page 2. About $500,000 worth of cars were on display at Winchester recently when the South Canterbury Jaguar Car Club held an invitation gymkhana. Drivers of over 25 Jaguars, MGs and a Porsche display their machines' capabilities and control. Tanya and Mrs. Penny Stevenson with their 1950 Mark V Jaguar convertible, and Mr. Neil Garner with his 1978 2-litre Porsche. Let me have a look in here. 7-year-old Amanda Bauer of Waimate tries to find out what makes Donald Duck tick when Donald visited Timaru along with Uncle Scrooge. The friendly duo enjoyed meeting members of the public on Stafford Street as well as visiting Talbot Hospital, Maru School and the IHC Centre and the public hospital. The two were in town to help a local business with its promotions. Defeating the Town and Country Club at Bowls thought these 4 ladies were club's challenge club. The Hotel Association team is Mavis O'Hara, Rachel McIntosh, Yvonne King and Heather Rouse. The page was sponsored by Wallace and Cooper with their Rooster fans. Photo News People, issue number 9, Photo News, page 3. Paul Boyce snapped up a bargain at the Trinity Church Fair when he bought the old handmade sailing ship for $2. Pariora St Andrews Scout leader Brenda Waller receives a medal from merit badge from Mr. Russell Henry. Brenda has been a group leader for the past 10 years. Hard work, but obviously enjoying it, Jenny Gale, Joanne Rowley, Lisa Cone and Lynn Taylor are all smiles during a craft and dress-making activity session at the Pleasant Point High School. The Governor-General, Sir David Beattie, recently officially opened and inspected the Kononai Community Trust's new home in Redruth Street. Looking over a South Canterbury map is Sir David and Mr. John Stubbs. Pleasant Point High School pupils were asked to elect an activity during a special period at school. Jean McColgan chose one of the more adventurous activities as he abseils down a rock face. The page was sponsored by Photos of Property, privately owned properties for sale. Advertising design by Rosemary, Photo News graphic artist. Hi, I'm Rosebery Miller, and I'm your graphic artist at Photo News. It is my job to lay out the advertisements in Photo News so that they are attractive and interesting to our readers. We encourage your advertisers to use photographs so that they complement our photographic news. Photo News is printed in a web off-site printing press, which ensures the best possible reproduction available in newspaper printing. If you're considering placing an advertisement in Photo News, then give me a ring and I will be only too pleased to help design your advertisement. Photo News, specialists in photographic advertising. Sharon, Photo News receptionist. Photographic orders. If there's a photograph in this or any issue of Photo News that you'd like to buy, then give me a ring. Sharon Bishop. Right, more Photo News. At the top, Sir Robert Muldoon having a quick chat with the Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Timaru Herald, Mr. R.H. Kerr, during the opening of the new Timaru Herald building. Below, Mr. Graham Stillwell, Chief Sub-Editor of the Timaru Herald, points out some of the features in the new editor's room to Sir Robert. A new club in Timaru will be looking to be a roaring success after its presentation dinner on Friday. The Timaru Suburban Lioness Club starts its life with 36 members and is expecting more to join in the near future. Photo, Mr. W. Apps, Lion District Governor, and Jan Leonard, the club's president. The club was sponsored by Timaru Suburban Lions, whose president, Mr. Graham Woods, raised the idea. The MP for Timaru, Sir Basil Arthur, and the Mayor of Timaru, Mrs. H.D.L. McIver, attended the function with the formal part of the ceremony consisting of presenting of certificates in recognition of the club by Lions International and the formal introduction of Lioness members. The formation of the new club is a major event for Lions, with members from Wellington through to Invercargill attending the event. The club has several projects planned and will initially be working to help children and the elderly. Large projects will be undertaken with local clubs providing mutual support to help children and the elderly. Large projects will be undertaken. Official elected were President J. Leonard, Vice President M. Martin, Secretary L. Lance, Treasurer and Project Committee J. Doggett, Membership Committee B. Chapman, Club Programs Committee T. Gafflin, Lioness Tamer N. Cook, Tail Twister and S. Melvin. The page was sponsored by South Canterbury Finance and Olive's Business Equipment. Right, on page 5 we have some more news. 400 people attended the school opening. About 400 members of the public, invited guests and pupils and staff members gathered at the grounds of the Mountain View High School for its official opening by the Prime Minister Sir Robert Muldoon. The gathering was addressed by the Chairman of the School Board, Mr. J.S. McMillan, the Mayor of Timaru and H.D.L. McIver, the school's principal, Mr. M.B. Wilkinson, the MP for Timaru, Sir Basil Arthur, and Mr. B.K. Gainsford, who recently retired as original superintendent of the Canterbury Education Board. After Sir Robert spoke to the crowd, the school was blessed by Father T.P. O'Connor. Mr. McMillan, Lady Muldoon, Sir Robert and Mr. Wilkinson pause while the Prime Minister and his wife receive a Maori welcome. On the bottom right, Sir Robert and Mrs. Wilkinson work to unravel the plaque. Below, a smile with Sir Robert as he signs the school's visitors book. The page was sponsored by Simon Hocking Travel. Page 6. Photo News People. Voluntary helpers at the Trinity Church Fair look over some of the plants on sale at the fair. They are Mr. Armstrong and Mrs. McDonald and Mrs. Black. Hello there. Nicola Allenton has her sword at the ready during the fancy dress parade at Trinity School Fair. The Minister of Energy, Mr. Bill Birch, recently opened with the LPG facilities at Northbound Motors, with Mr. Birch and Mr. Neville Kent and Mike Colville. Pleasant Point High School's camera crew filming a local happening. The crew is Melvin Ward, Stephen Kelty, Chief Camera Operator, and Chris Johnson and Hamish Kirk. A mural will soon be painted on the fence at the Pleasant Point High School by a selected project team. Putting up the undercoat is Raywin Copeland. The page was sponsored by Smith's Wholesale Groceries and CFM Meats. On page 7 of Photo News, we have Photo News Sport. Waimate chalked up a convincing victory over Old Boys when the two rugby teams met at the weekend. Helping his team to the 18-11 win is Brendan Fox as he swoops on the ball. Don Rooney, Waimate sends the ball on his way to Dave Brand. Old Boys' valiant efforts to charge it down is successful. More people. Members of the Northdown Tiranga clubs and scout group had a great success at the South Canterbury Clubs and Scout Swimming Sports on Saturday, March the 24th. The Northdown Tiranga group won both sections of the competition. Top, the winning scout team, back row, Aaron Williams, Lee Pitts, Shane Story, Stephen Little, front row, Mark Rosman, Carl Thin, Ian Stephen, above the winning club team, back row, Mark Lawrence, Mark Caswell, Nigel Smith, David Leach and John Williams. On the front row, Blair Kelly, Matthew Leach, Carl Buchanan, Jeremy White and Dave Weirwood. John Morris, Kevin Campbell, Jenny Robinson and Judy McTavish rest for a while during a cattle drive from Glen Lyon and Huxley stations. The drive took 16 days and finished up at the Temuka Sale Yards. The page was sponsored by the Sunflower Centre in Fairley, Thompson Refrigeration Services in Timaru, and Murray Parker Sports World. Middle page spread and spot colour, Photo News album. At the top, Donald Hamill, Anne and Grant were married at St Thomas Church of Timaru. The bride, Anne Louise, is the only daughter of Elizabeth and Neil MacDonald. The couple will make their home in Wellington. Wayne Miller Photography. Megat Phillips, Sally and Tony were married at St Stephen's Church, Timaru. Sally is the only daughter of Merle and Frank Phillips Limited, Phillips of Timaru, and Tony is the younger son of Kath and Barney Megat of Timaru. Photos by Wayne Miller Photography. Crean Retzma. and Amanda were married at the Elim Church, Timaru. The bride, Amanda Retimer, is the daughter of Mrs. A. Retina of New Plymouth, and the groom is the son of Mr. and Mrs. G. Cran of Wakatani. Photo by Ron Lindsay. On the left, Barnes and Blair. Alison and Jamie were married at St. Luke's Church, Hines. Alison is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. R.E. Blair of Hines, and Jamie is the son of Mr. and Mrs. K.M. Barnes of Timaru. Right, Macaulay Featherstone. Jane and Pat Mulcahy, who were married at St. Mark's Church, enjoyed their wedding at Ottapure with their family and friends. Photo by Tim Hawkins. The page was sponsored by Howard's Cane Furniture and Radio Caroline, and also Fraser's Jewellery and Mackenzie and Willis. Photo News advertisers. Far too many to call out. They're all there. All the advertisers in the Photo News first 9 pages. Or first 9 issues, sorry. Page 10 of Photo News issue number 9. A fashion parade at Mountain View High School drew a great crowd of enthusiastic onlookers keen to see some of the coming winter fashions. Models from Foxy Lady Modelling Agency presented the garments. Cheryl Clark and Pamela MacDonald. Enjoying themselves at the fancy dress party at the Empire Hotel in Waimate are Alan Rhodes and Trevor Marshall. Mr. Godfrey Bowen, Mr. Graham Lee and H.C. Smith took over the top fleece of the display at the Pleasant Point Wool Festival. The fleece was judged by Mr. B. Smith, a retired wool classer of Wakawaiti. The fleece, a fine cross-bred merino shorn hogget, weighed 3.1 kilos. Over 900 kilos of wool was donated to the festival and will be sold within a few weeks, with the proceeds used for 3 surrounding churches of the Pleasant Point district. The festival consisted of modelling of woolen garments and presentation from Mr. Bowen. The success of the festival is a tribute to both Pleasant Point and the districts for a combined effort. Photo News first subscriber, Mr. A.V. Martin of Washdyke, hands over his cheque to the General Manager of Photo News, Mr. Ron Bishop. Mr. Martin said he enjoyed reading Photo News and was only too pleased to help promote local industry in South Canterbury. A visitor to the Morven Flower Show this year was the moderator of the Presbyterian Church of New Zealand, the Reverend Tani Taco, who admires one of the displays with Mr. John Hay left and Reverend Kelvin Wright of Morven. The page was sponsored by Masterhill Industries, Myco Wakefield and R.B. Jenkins Painting Limited. Photo News Sport. Roger Small of Timaru Boys High School comes close to clearing the high jump bar during the Mid-Canterbury Secondary School sports held at Mountain View High School. Mr. Ray Bennett on the left and General Manager of the Timaru Herald, and Mr. Keith Cook, a retired stock agent from Pleasant Point, both took part in the Personality Bowl series last week at Pleasant Point. The Temuka 15 returned the RW Tani Norton Challenge Cup for another year and had a convincing win against the Southern Zone Maoris last weekend. Jeff Frew, Mid-Canterbury, scampers away from Rod McCarthy from Wellington. Below, Trevor McLean tries to force his way through a tackle by a Southern Zone Maori. member. 6 happy members of the South Island Junior Roller Skating team who have recently beat the North Island team in a contest judged over 5 different venues. The successful team is Paul Laplanche, South Canterbury, Roger Hawkinson, Canterbury, Craig Erskine from South Canterbury, Diane Gamble from Otago, Kay Robinson, South Canterbury, and Angela Hawkins from Canterbury. The page was sponsored by BB Stop and Fairley and Cobb & Co. Coco the Clown. Page 12 of Photo News, issue number 9. John Shelton Motors, Pike Suzuki Centre, Noble Auto Services, and Hanson's Tyre Services. Wheels Motor Market, Wheels and Motor Market. The page was sponsored by Crown Motors, Shogun Service Station, Lawrence Gear Motors, Jack Penny Car Sales, there's Jack Penny there and Bruce Forrester, Errol James Car Sales, and Rod Cook Marine and Auto. Names, Faces and Places. A popular figure, Mr. Jeff Instone, completed 10 years working in the law office in 1981 to take up a position as administrator of the IHC in South Canterbury. Jeff is at present back in the land of his birth, attending a 4-day conference in Queensland, Australia, where he was to present a folio on recent developments in the society of his country. Jeff, who is married with 2 children, is a charter member and past president of the Timaru Suburban Lions Club, and has spent 5 years as president of the Friends of Angantire Art Gallery. He has been involved in telethons and a local event with the South Canterbury Drama League. The page was sponsored by Bishop Campbell & Co., the second-hand shop, BC Harris Antique Furniture, O'Loughlin's Antique Furniture, Margaret's Music Store, Waimati Auctions, Ashbury Gift Centre, Trim Knitwear, Albury Tavern, Newman's Record Centre, Waimati's First Health Shop, The Green Pepper, Stafford Scissors, Specialty House, Sir Basil Arthur, Vote Labour, Canterbury Interiors, What Not Shop, Waimati Appliances, Dove Print, Hull Signs, Jim and Joy Hoare, Photography. On page 15 of Photo News, issue number 9, we have more people. On the left, Matthew Cook, Lisa Conroy, Hannah Barkin, Sarah Batkin, Timothy Bell and Jamie Burgess about to devour a pizza after a 40-hour famine at the weekend. About 1,000 people in South Canterbury raised about $32,000 for World Vision. On the right, Mr. Red Shaw and his son Aaron spent many hours of the weekend preparing food for the end famine. Left, an apple a day the hard way. Andrew Ireland finds it isn't easy getting the bobbing apple, while Michael Dyack waits in anticipation of a very wet face. It was all in good cause, as the gala raised $2,000 approximately for the Geraldine High School. And Anna Wilkins, pictured at the Geraldine High School gala, takes home her prize. Page was sponsored by Collage. About 40 guests at a champagne breakfast. Mr. P. Stringer, resident of an early start as they celebrate the April Fool's Day birthdays of Marilyn and Douglas and Cynthia Aiken, and to mark the departure of Stringer family and to Dunedin. Marking the occasion with the toast are Bob Douglas, Marilyn Douglas, Tony Corbett, Cynthia Aiken, and Philip and Barbara Stringer. Page sponsored by Mutual Travel Service. Photo News is our news. Don't keep it a secret. Tell Photo News. Our cameras are ready and waiting to capture everything of local interest in South Canterbury. If it's photo news, then we want to be there when it happens. Or maybe you have a photo of an event that could interest our readers. If so, give me a ring. Call out our office. Gus Bishop, Editor-in-Chief Photographer. Did you know Photo News is the only South Canterbury newspaper that will be going into almost every home and business in South Canterbury during our subscription campaign? Did you know Photo News is already being posted to other areas in New Zealand and overseas? Did you know our current advertisers are enjoying positive results from regular advertising in Photo News? Then maybe it's time for a change. Advertise in Photo News, the small paper with the big circulation. Ron Bishop, Advertising Sales. Attention all business houses. Keep your customers happy while they wait. By subscribing to Photo News, the only newspaper that contains 100% local South Canterbury news, complete the form below now and we will post you a regular copy of Photo News. Dear readers, we would like to thank the many people who have subscribed to Photo News. It is this support that will make it possible for us to employ more people who are so necessary in helping to make Photo News an even more interesting local South Canterbury newspaper. A special welcome to our new readers who will be viewing Photo News for the first time. We trust that you've enjoyed our paper, and we look forward to sending you a regular fortnightly copy of Photo News upon receipt of your subscription fee. To those of you who have not yet sent in your subscription fee, we recommend that you do so soon, as we will be unable to guarantee delivery of complimentary copies as our subscription clients increase. We would like to inform our advertising clients that we will continue to maintain our 17,000 circulation, but our distribution areas will change from time to time during our subscription campaign. All advertising clients will be advised of any increase or decrease in our circulation prior to publication. Once again, we say thank you, South Canterbury, to all our subscribers and advertisers. We can assure you that we will continue to provide you with a service which you all gain some benefit from. Ron E. Bishop, General Manager of Photo News. Distribution notice. The distribution areas of Photo News will vary throughout South Canterbury each fortnight during our subscription campaign. The following areas will not be receiving complimentary copies of Photo News this issue: rural deliveries, Timaru and Temuka, urban deliveries, Timaru Streets, Market, Harborough and part of St George and Otterbeer Roads. All subscribers in these areas will receive their copy by post. The following areas will receive complimentary copies of Photo News for the first time: rural deliveries, Pleasant Point, Geraldine, Fairley, Albury, Cave, St Andrews, Waimate Post Office box holders, Timaru part only. Please advise if you have no circulars letterbox when sending in your subscriptions. Circulation Department, Photo News. And there's the subscription form there. We wish to help promote South Canterbury by promoting a Photo News becoming a Photo News subscriber. Please send me or us a regular fortnightly copy of Photo News. Subscription fee $10, posted and delivered $5, total payment $15.